This administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America. Today I took a trip which should be unnecessary. I took a trip which in our time should become impossible. We have declared unconditional war on poverty.
South Bend, Indiana. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Martinsburg, West Virginia.
So please, for God's sakes, try to, the Burlesons and the rest of them would run off, tell them they can vote against me the rest of the year, but don't vote on that one thing where the Republicans are going to brad my nose, because this is one I just can't lose. This is the only Johnson proposal I've got.
And I said, this is the first bill under my own name. Now don't let me down.
So next thing I know, the phone rang, and he was in a hushed voice. He said, "Sarge, this is your president speaking. And we're having a meeting in the cabinet. And I've just taken this phone call to give you a call and say that I've thought again about the war against poverty." He said, "I've decided you really are the person to get it going. And after you get it going, we can talk about who will be the permanent head of it. But," he said, "I want you to be the permanent head of it." And he said, "I'm going to announce it on the noon broadcast. I'm going to be making it in a few minutes." He said, "I hope you understand that this is your president speaking to you."
So is a phrase called maximum feasible participation. Everything I've read is that it was included because of persistence by a couple of individuals, but that it was a very...
One individual in particular, a man named Dick Boone, whom some of you know.
That were launched a whole series of community action programs around the country based upon ultimately a kind of a tripartite agreement that one, the public sector locally would be involved, two, the private nonprofit sector would be involved, and that finally the citizens or representatives of citizens would be involved under the maximum feasible participation.
You can have as much participation in this as you want, all right? And you can change your own destiny. And people believe this. People who I had never seen out before, housewives, dragging their kids out to meetings, because they really believed that they were participants in a structure that was going to better their lives.
During the 1960s, the federal government undertook ambitious, sometimes almost utopian commitments in one area of social policy after another, elbowing aside the state and local governments and the private sector, and establishing literally hundreds of new programs based on the assumption that any human problem could be solved simply by throwing enough federal dollars at it.
How much more in budget cuts are you going to have to make over the next couple of years, and will you still be able to balance the budget in '84?
Well, this has always been our goal and will continue to be our goal, but remember that we always said that there were further budget cuts for the coming years.
On this vote, the ayes are 238, the nays are 195, and under the rules...
The Senate voted overwhelmingly in favor of his economic package.
Mr. President, congratulations. You're a tough adversary. No hard feelings, old pal. It's a great two-party system we have. We gave our best, and you outdid us. As a matter of fact, you stunned us. I never figured you could beat us that badly.
But when we can find systems that do work, we want to come out and aggressively support them, and that's what this press conference and that's what this initiative is all about. Rick Glasio and I went to Speaker Gingrich several months ago and asked him to support an effort that was being brought forth by a number of Republican members in terms of how we could help further expand successful efforts that are currently taking place across the country in some 98% of our counties in America. This network is known as the Community Action Agency Network and the Community Action Agency System. Speaker Gingrich was very supportive and said he was entirely behind our effort, and that We should go out, Rick and I, and attempt to, with the other members, encourage the appropriators to come up with the dollars to allow an expansion of an existing program.
Already we've frozen the salaries of hard-working federal employees for the next 2 years. I've proposed cuts to things I care deeply about, like community action programs. I recognize that some in this chamber have already proposed deeper cuts, and I'm willing to eliminate whatever we can honestly afford to do without. And tonight I am grateful that this Congress delivered, and pleased to say that the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act is now law.